Welcome to welcome to our private coaching. It's so great to be here. We're going to take questions for the next hour or so. So you come and join me. We get some one-on-one time, some real value, uh, and happy to answer anything that you have, and happy to help in any way that I can. So, Justin, if you can, let's start with the questions. Adding somebody in here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. We're going to be doing this every week. You get one-on-one access to me. Don't forget your Facebook group as well. We can network and ask questions there. We're loading people in, so give a minute or two. All right. And then don't forget, you still join me on Friday trainings for free. Get the replays of all the trainings, get the exercise guides, the training guides, all the books. Make sure you get everything so that we have many questions and learn as much as we can. And if you need anything, all you gotta do is ask. That's what this is for, to give you one-on-one access with me and to learn from other people what questions they have. We're loading people in right now. We'll do this once a week, and then once a month we'll give an extra special training with one-on-one questions as well. Let me know what times work best. So I do, the office hours are normally going to be 3 p.m., but I'm more than willing to do a weekend session, change the times around. I really want everyone to get the most out of it. Even do an extra session for you guys, since you're my guinea pigs, my test group. So I want to provide as much value as I can for everyone. So thank you so much. This has been super cool. Our first group is overloaded, so I may create a new private group. We'll see how it works. I'm just testing it all out. That's why we're giving a full year for what probably will be a month. But let's make sure we do this right and everybody feels good about it. That's my main goal. So I'm open to constructive criticisms, comments, anything that I can do to help what we're doing. I think what we'll do next week, just learning from it, is we'll load people in 5 minutes before. And we'll always start loading people at 5 minutes before everything that we do, so we can just get and utilize time more efficiently. I'll give extra time today, a minimum of an hour a week. I'm going to give the one-on-one training for everyone. So thank you for joining. Appreciate everybody. My email is right there. So if you need any guides, exercises, links to previous trainings, coaching session, so we'll get there. And Jesse.
Oh, hi David, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. What question you got for me?
So I was talking about, I know you talk a lot about like how obstacles are illusions, and like I think for me, my block is that I guess the problems that I have, they seem like unconscious. Like I always think that they're there. Can you describe how they're illusions and how to break through, because we're constantly shifting through, like, I don't know, the changes, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at how we see things and how they materialize, you'll realize that when I say illusions, it's because you're giving meaning to what you see, right? And so, if you're giving meaning to what you see, it's illusory. It's able to change, and that's where, like, the old statement that Wayne Dyer always said, right? Change the way you look at things. The things you look at change. You can look with different meaning and different intention, and take a situation that may have been one of the most painful situations of your life and turn it into one of the most valuable, joyous situations of your life. And so what we want to do is create a practice of this. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at the things that you're giving meaning to in an unconscious way, but giving the wrong meaning to. You're focusing in on the wrong light or the wrong energy of something, whether it's a relationship or a job or all the common things that people get in their way and create these obstacles, voids, and shortages and resistance in their life. I want you to make a practice of trying to figure out, okay, what do I like? And some things are very difficult. I had a relationship. It took me 9 years to find the light in the relationship because I had so much anger and resentment and offense and all types of other things that I kept, naturally in my subconscious and unconscious focusing in on. And I continually practice paying attention to the good things and paying attention and giving intention to the good things. And all of a sudden I started realizing that even the most construct, the most materialized, the most substantial things in my life were only that way because I gave it that meaning. And other things that I wanted to give that meaning, I could do the same to as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does. I guess it's just gonna take, it's not like a switch, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, well, that's even a bigger point, right? That, I want everyone to know that, these things, all the lessons that we learn, we're going to, excuse me, forget. All the lessons are accessible to us, but all the lessons require practice. Give me 1 second. Gotta get my water. Extra stage left. Hold on. So, why this is important is that if everything takes practice and everything is a lesson, there's one problem. We don't realize the growth that we have when it's happening. So what I want you to do is think of things like a kid's tennis shoe. One of the things I love about having kids is that you don't really see them grow, but all of a sudden they're graduating college and you're like, whoa, where'd that happen? So I always liked buying their tennis shoes because it was one of those segments that I could say, oh my gosh, look how fast they grew. Even though I wasn't seeing the growth, all of a sudden, every 2-3 weeks, my son needs a new pair of shoes because his feet have grown at half a size. Well, I want you to look at everything that you're practicing with me the same way, that you may not see all the growth and the acceleration that you have, but you're requiring bigger and bigger of a learning zone, bigger and bigger of a comfort zone. You have a bigger size tennis shoe that you're wearing. You can take bigger steps and cover bigger areas and achieve more and more, even though your day-to-day practice isn't uncovering the incremental growth that you're looking for. You want to find those segments and how they're occurring.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Makes so much sense.
Of course, any other follow-up questions?
I think I'm good for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me, and look forward
Yes.
to more questions. Thank you always for joining me.
Yay,
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. More people that want to come on, let me know. Here we go. Joe, how are you?
How's it going, David? Good to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
No problem at all. So I don't know if you saw my question previously, but it's kind of two-faceted since the talk on Saturday. One was, could you give some more concrete examples of your experiential and giving and receiving values? I understand, of course, what personal values are: honesty, health, all that stuff. But I'm really struggling with that.
Yeah.
And then I can go to the follow-up. But the follow-up was related to being a student of your calendar and just sort of more
of my
about
favorite subjects. All right, we'll start with the values. And thank you for asking that, because I've been teaching this for so many years, and so many people, I just assume what it means. And so when you can point these out, it helps everybody. So let's start with experiential values. What an experiential value is, and I'll use college as an example. I don't think college is a great way to prepare yourself for the workforce. Okay, so if I have a high experiential value, like an entrepreneur, I may not go to college because my experiential value of college isn't equated, because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm better off going and, raising money, or, tinkering in my garage, or whatever, selling cards, or doing an MLM, or, getting right into the financial services business. All those examples where, grit and entrepreneurship is there. But if my experiential value is, I'll never get this opportunity for 4 years, my parents can afford it, I want to party with friends and build lifelong relationships, and that I can network into an emotionally tied group of huge alumni that can get me my first job in a professional aspect where I know, I'm going to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, and the only way to get there is to go to college. So my experiential values are dictating what my activity is. And we do the same thing every day. When you're in a closet like I am, I have to choose my experiential values of what I want to experience from this closet. And when we do that, the cool thing that happens, Joe, is it's one of the key indicators for the what. I'm a big fan of what the why will come, but when we spend every day going, this is what I want out of this day. Here's my big values, my health. So I'm going to go work out for an hour. My family, I'm going to spend some time with them. My, integrity. I'm going to make sure that when I'm faced with a decision that I'm going to take the higher road and live to my potential. But here's what I'm going to experience today. I'm going to have an hour or more, coaching people and helping them. I want to have lunch with my wife or whatever it is. So that's what experiential values are, and they need to be reviewed every day, which ironically are tied to the student of the calendar, obviously, because you tie that to what you have planned, what you don't have planned in your sleep. Now, giving and receiving values are more complex because they're really the same. And when I say that, I mean, when I shifted the paradigm for me of value and said, I want to receive so much, not to buy my mom a house or car, not to buy my first Ferrari, not to own a golf course, not to own a motorhome, but so that it can come through me, not only with gratitude, which I always have, but with value that I can add to it and give it away. So, I want to give kids scholarships to college. I want to have, all the people that work for me to be financially independent. Or today, I want them all to be secure. I want them all to be in a position. For example, I have a lot of young people that work for me, and if the housing market goes down, like I think it will be a great opportunity to change so many lives because I was able to put them in a financially secure position to buy their first house, which is a significant life. You can see how that's giving and receiving, but some people aren't as evolved in that oneness of giving and receiving. So when I started the idea, it was, this is what I want to give today. I'm going to volunteer for an hour at the Boys and Girls Club. I'm going to be the chairman of this foundation. I'm going to go ahead and go to this gala tonight and support them however I can with relationship capital, money, experience, advice. And then receiving wise, I used to straight out be like, I want to make over $1 million this week, or I want to make, I want to finish this deal. I want to close this deal. Those are receiving values. But I would say the interesting thing about my assessment of taking inventory is very what driven, right? What do I want from my personal values? What do I want from my experiential? What do I want from the receiving and giving? Because I believe the what gives us the biggest mathematical advantage in the universe, like we talked about Saturday, that I believe the distance between nothingness and a possibility is far greater for human beings than possibility to probability and probability to perspective. I really do. I know a lot of people, don't see the same thing. They might be inspired and be like, oh, I got a long road. The longest road, the one that has the most statistical deference and interference, is the 0 to what, not the why to how. It's the 0 to what. And so many people, if you start taking inventory, you'll start seeing, wow, I got a leg up because I'm paying attention to and giving intention to the specificity of clarity, balance, and focus that's giving me all this confidence. So the trip from zero nothingness into probability is extraordinary. And now I'm in a state of allowance where my probability becomes my perspective and things start happening more rapidly and accurately. But I'm living an inspired life. I'm living an enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential.
Okay. So
okay, that was just okay. Okay.
No, okay. Like that's so. I mean, just to kind of take what you've said and maybe put it into my words, for lack of a better term, from experiential values. For example, I was a military policeman in the Army, and I learned how to use tact and build rapport. Right, so that's an experiential value that I can use when I'm going about my day. Right, how am I gonna talk to you in a way that you're gonna feel not impressed, but feel benefited by what we've spoken about, and also you build that rapport. And then from the receiving value side, I was also a nonprofit executive director, and we used to have what would be called like a gift receipt policy, right? So like, for example, if I worked for an organization, let's say that was protecting wetlands, I might not accept a $250,000 gift from BP, right? Like, so kind of the same idea. Like, I'm what I want, but at the same time, why I'm going to receive it, right? So I might, if in your case, you might not take a client who represent something that you don't agree with on the other pages, on the other places.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that absolutely has happened in my life, where I started realizing I won't do business with people that I'm not aligned with, right? Like as much money as I could make, or maybe, but if they're not aligned with those values, then it's just going to end up in tragedy.
Okay. I don't want to take too much time if there are other questions, but maybe someone else has a question about being a student of your calendar and how that really works. Like,
I'm sure. Like they got 4 people waiting, but I'm going to hit that, I'm sure, through this.
okay.
I'm sure you're not the only one that has questions about that. And
Thank you very much.
You got it. Thanks, Joe. Great job.
See you.
Thank you. All right, cool. Let's put the next person in. Sean, how are you?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. So this might tie into being a student of your calendar, but so I try to be as generous with my time as you are. Obviously, not even come close to that level, but as a player agent, I find myself frequently just playing defense all day, getting pinged in a million different directions. So how do you kind of protect your time so that you can play some offense rather than just running from one fire to the next?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because it's exactly what Joe probably wanted to know. Yeah. So let's take a step back and think about what a student of a calendar means. Studying, first of all, means I'm going to pay attention to and give intention to the things I have planned. Yeah. According to my values. So one of the problems with people that are constantly putting out fires is they're not planning things correctly. They're either taking too much time with what they have planned, or they're just assuming that they'll get it done. Yeah. And then it never gets done because the rest of the world happens. I'll give you an example in my calendar, how this, what's happening to you, because we have similar backgrounds and experience. Sure. So I did the other side, where I had so much opportunity, and I do the 5-20 rule, which is I have a goal, my phone calls last 5 minutes, my meetings last 20. And I make exceptions, but I believe that after 5 minutes on the phone, you're just visiting. After 20 minutes in a meeting, you're visiting. And I do the same with interviews, etc. Well, because of the opportunities, I had no blank space in my calendar, like none. And so I started putting in do not book, like some 30-minute and hour blanks. And one of the days I put 2 hours because it was getting too much. And I just needed 2 hours to get caught up on some other stuff. Wow. It just filled up, right? It just filled up with all the stuff that you're talking about. And, I sat there. So I think what's really important is to understand prioritization, because someone like you has so much opportunity and so much inflow that, number one, you have to prioritize what you have planned. So, and make sure that you're putting it and studying with attention and intention what you have planned, but also on the do it now rule, make sure you hold strong to it. Can I do it now? If so, can I do it? If I can't, prioritize it by what's most important first and put it in your calendar for the next day to study that. Sure. And I would make sure, family-wise, this one saved me. I always, non-negotiable, 30 minutes with my wife every day, 7 days, 30 minutes with my 10-year-old, 7 days, 2 minutes with the teenage daughters every day. I wanted 5, they gave me 2. But and an hour on my health, and I make it non-negotiable. Like certain things I'll actually even put in my calendar, non-negotiable. So if someone says, well, Barack Obama, he wants to, talk to you at 7 a.m. Well, if I can't fit in my workout, if I can't figure my health for an hour, if I can't move something else around, that's non-negotiable. Right. I would give up. Now, we all both know that other things I would switch out for interviewing Barack Obama or somebody, but in the end, there's a lot of things I used to make bad choices because I didn't make my priorities non-negotiable. So I think instituting a 5-20 rule of sorts, whatever that means to you, it could be 10-50, whatever you want to do, but start picking the amount of time that most of the stuff that you do on the phone or on Zoom, when does it turn to just visiting, and when is it, just constructive, and try to make that your goal.
How can you communicate that, like as you transition to following that policy?
Yeah, great question. So I not only do I brand myself, but I'll start out a call and I'll say, hey, I got this started for 5 minutes, so let's get this done. I got another interview at this time, or my interviews, I'll start off on the time. and you know they're back end selling me to get 45 minutes, and I'll say, look, I got a hard stop at 8:20.
Yep.
Right. And when you do different increments, people get the hang of it because they're like, why'd you book me at 8:05? Because I got another call at 8:10.
Sure.
So let's get this done.
Okay.
And if they say, hey, I'm going to need more time, I'll say, we'll see. I'll give it to you, but let's see.
Right.
Like I literally say that.
Yeah.
But it's so cool because a lot of people that know my brand and know this mechanism were like, okay, I started my clock, you know.
Totally.
And they'll get on the phone and start their clock on their
works. So, all right. Well, I appreciate that, Dave. This is awesome.
Cool. Thank you, Sean.
You bet.
Cool. Awesome. And we'll keep on talking. Student your calendar is the hardest habit to have. I mean, thank you is a hard one, but Brian Ford.
Dave, what's going on, man? You're on fire. You're always on fire. I love seeing it.
I'm inspired, man. It's inspired fire.
Of course. Yeah. I'm inspired too, and I'm trying to kind of put it into action. I really actually appreciate what you said about taking zero to what. That's kind of where I feel like I've actually succeeded in one of my newest ideas. I'm trying to figure out what the next steps are after that. So something, and I kind of referenced with you, talked to Dr. Sahi, talking to Mark Metry, you know, there's some people involved in this project that I'm super excited about. And, you know, I've created a deck. I have a lot of pieces in place when it comes to the intention, the objective, the actual mission, the vision, all of that. And now it feels like there's so much to do. And it's kind of like all in the clouds, like, hey, one day we'll get to that. One day we'll get to the business model. One day we'll get to incorporation. One day we'll get to, you know, who knows what's next. And I'm trying to figure out what is the first chip that I can put in the rock when it comes to starting either, we can talk about like a social conscious business or a social enterprise or a B Corp or something like that, because this is completely for purpose. But when, you know, when it comes to actually like planting your roots in this kind of space, like what is the first thing that needs to happen? Because I just want to get started.
Yeah. So for me, believe it or not, it's connecting the dots backwards monetarily, right? Whether it's purpose driven or not is just an illusion. It's kind of what Jesse was talking about, right? It's the meaning that we give it. I know, you know, guys like Warren Buffett think that they have the most purpose driven businesses and they're just stockbrokers, right? Berkshire Hathaway. Well, in the end, if he's going to give, you know, $1 trillion when he dies to, you know, charity, well, that's pretty purpose driven. Right. So how is he effectuating it? So every great every great organization, which is either for-profit, nonprofit, or whatever, has one word in it. All organizations have the word profit. Okay. And so the biggest mistakes that people make is they romanticize the purpose and the why, and they forget about that in order to be St. Jude, they have to raise over $1 billion a year. And they do a lot of good, right? I'm a big fan and advisor and whatever else they want to call me for St. Jude. I'm the Goodwill Ambassador to Curacao, but only because we raise a lot of money to help them. So I want you to go back and I want you to think about, how can I receive? How are we going to keep this in business? You know, even through COVID, a lot of the organizations that I've been volunteering, sit on boards of, chairman of, et cetera, you know, it was a lot of strategy in order to facilitate, how are we going to stay in business? And look, I know the purposes are to help children and to feed people and to clothe people and to give them fresh water and all the other great things that we do. It ain't going to happen unless we figure out what's the model to generate the profit and get really good at that. Because whatever the purpose is, and you know, it's really fun to do, Brian, to prove my point. Look at the top 10 NGOs in the world. They're not the greatest purposes. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but they're the top 10 for one reason, because they raise the most money. They're the best businesses. They're the best profitable, most profitable organizations. And, you know, with that profit, it's what you do with it as well. So, you know, as an NGO, you know, not only do you need a lot of coming in, but you want to utilize it efficiently, just like a business. You want to make sure that the people who are benefiting from what you're doing are the ones that are supposed to be benefiting. But I would start with the money. If you need any help as well, I know you have a good team around you as well, but I'll be happy to help. I'm a real pragmatist when it comes to the purpose and the why.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I definitely have you in mind when the time is right to introduce it to you. But what I'm hearing kind of is understanding, you know, whatever form this takes, for purpose, for profit, whatever you want to call it, but it's always about dollars and cents and making sure that it's sustainable and it has this operating budget to actually actuate what you want to create. That's got to be the first step, is make sure you have that baseline figured out.
Yeah, and if you don't, you know what? Do some due diligence and see if there's other charities or other organizations that are already doing what you're doing or similar to, and go approach them and ask if you can join them and create a business unit within theirs, or some sort of nuance with them, or just help them if they're directly aligned. I can't tell you how many people have these great ideas and they want to start a foundation, and I'm like, you know what? It's already created. Talk to this person, go volunteer. Why rebuild? Go rejoin.
Yep. Yeah, it's part of, are we trying to figure out, do we want to incorporate? Do we want to be a branch on something that already exists? And that's one of the things to figure out. But I think just independently figuring out our dollars and cents or P&L, like, is this going to be something that sustains? That's where I'm going to focus first. So I appreciate that advice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Let me know how I can be of service. Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Cool. All right, we're all learning from each other. I can see. Very good. Let's see. Let's send the next one on. I know the waiting room's full, but keep them coming. George, what's up, brother?
Hey, howdy, Dave. How you doing, man?
Good. I miss you. What's a good question for me?
All right, I got it here. Let me just make sure I word it right. Boop, boop. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well,
Everybody should know George the dog trainer. He's the one that.
Okay, basically this. How do I know when I'm ready to start pitching? Like,
How do you know when you're ready to
there's never
start
going to be a
pitching?
time where. Yeah. There's never going to be a time where it's the right time.
All right. So to me, the time that's ready to pitch is, number one, pitching's a practice. So when you practice enough, where not only are you carrying the energy, but you're articulating the 120 exchange. When you have the energy and can articulate the 120 exchange, meaning, if I can tell you with credibility, emotional attachment, quantify the reasons, impacts, and capability, tell you the overall impact, and use the features and benefits to support all four of those other categories, and carry the energy and articulate it to the point where I can just say, hey, George, can you see any reason you won't want to move forward? And know in my head and in my heart, in my soul, there's no reason that you're not good, that you wouldn't want to move forward. There's no reason at all. When you're to that point, when you practice with your friends, your family, on your video, again and again and again, so that you feel like it's clapping, and it's just natural to have the credibility, emotional attachment, the math of it, quantification of reasons, impacts, capability, and overall impact, and then using the features and benefits to address those four other previous categories, so that you can confidently say, can you see any reason you won't want to move forward? You're ready to pitch.
All right. Thanks, Dave. I feel like I know I'm on the right path, but I wonder, how do I know if I'm going at the right pace? You say time isn't something that I should put any restraints on, and then reality hits, and I just want to make sure I'm moving and not stagnant, but also not trying to force it before it's time.
Yeah, what a great nuance that is in life, right? Well, first of all, you definitely want to move. And so you got to trust the fact that if you're moving and learning and there's pain, if there's some sort of pain, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain, you're moving and you're expanding and growing. So pain's a good thing. If you're making mistakes, that's a good thing. That means you're getting better. Okay. All of these indicators are that you're moving. Now, as far as pace goes, if you, within the values that you have, personal, experiential, giving, and receiving values, when you have those four aligned every day, using and being a student in your calendar, right, and being efficient, effective, and statistically successful, then that's your pace, right? Your pace will continue to get better. There's no doubt if you keep running every day, you're going to get faster, right? You keep lifting every day, with the right proper rest, but like in an efficient manner. The same thing's true with the acceleration and growth that you're experiencing. Just keep telling yourself, I think there is a mental attitude, perspective, meaning to this. I always tell myself, it'll come at the right way at the perfect time. I need to concentrate on enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential, right? And so if I'm focused on enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential, doing my best, learning as much as I can, identifying pain, and then trying to resolve it with the lessons that I learned, I'm going to get there faster than if all I did was tell myself I got to be there by the end of the month.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Dave. Thank you. Appreciate it as always. I'm looking forward to touching base again soon.
Yeah, man. Love it. Perfect. So cool, man. This is my first time with the private group, giving one-on-one access and allowing people to join me and to have the answers. Ira.
Hey, David. How's it going, man?
Good. Very good. You got a question for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure some stuff out because I'm a consummate sales guy, and I've been in the entertainment industry for a long time. And entertainment currently is hitting a pretty major lull. And when I think about whether or not that's a sign for me to be able to move on to a whole other different marketplace, I've been pivoting like an entrepreneur and using those relationships in ways that help them to be able to identify what else they can do with their platforms. At the same time, I'm thinking to myself, am I coming across as a guy that's lacking credibility? Am I coming across as a guy that's pivoting too fast? So these are like some concerns that I have while working my network. At the same time, I'm a stay-at-home dad too. I mean, we've got the kids here. And so the hours that you actually have to be able to get stuff done, let's keep it clean, really causes a little bit of anxiety relative to what I went through when I was making money in the entertainment industry. So it's a big, like, am I meant to pivot now fully? Or anyway, I'm sharing with you my perspective.
Yeah. So let me help you on that perspective of pivoting, number one. So tend to see your focus not on where you're going, which is what pivoting does, but tend to look at what you're doing by skills, by the knowledge that you have, which includes the relationship capital and the desire that you have. So whether or not somebody else thinks something of what you're doing is irrelevant, right? Because you can never control, and you'll never know what people really think. I know, like in my 20s, all I cared about was what everybody else thought. In my 40s, all I cared about was what I thought. And now, getting older, I'm 52, but by the time I'm 60, I'll realize nobody's thinking about me, right? They're only thinking about themselves. And so I better think about me and what that I want. So let's, instead of talking about pivoting, let's just talk about building more options. But you're not leaving everything behind, right? A lot of the business that you did before COVID will be available, and it will happen. But why not, while we're here, look for other options to supplement, to synergize, to grow and accelerate what we've already learned through the skills that we have, which are enormous in your business, your age, and your experience, the knowledge that we have. Like, these, part of knowledge is relationship capital, right? Who you know. That's knowledge. Who you know is knowledge. And so if I were you, I would actually try to get more aggressive and more, efficient, because you want to also value the time with the kids at home. You're staying home dad. This will never happen again. Trust me. You'll never have this time. You'll be kicking yourself if all you did was try to look for more and more options all the time.
Right.
So, but I would push. I would push and look at, and maybe even take inventory and skills that you don't think about. Look at things differently, and on content side or whatever you're doing, and say, God, if I could start over, right? If I could start over a whole business with money's not an issue, what would I do, right? And it's really fun, but you might find an option in there. You might find an option. And the good news is, as you find different options and opportunities that come through you, you're probably going to have the knowledge of what to do with it. Unlike, a 19-year-old dreamer that comes up with the same idea that you have, but doesn't have the knowledge to know how to take it to market, monetize it, finance it, distribute it, all those things that are necessary.
I mean, the confidence in that knowledge, of course, is the biggest challenge, because, of course, if you're going to pivot even a little bit during this time, it's not like I had such a bevy of income coming in from Hollywood just before COVID anyway. A lot of it was starting to wind down when it comes to what's going on with the writer's strike. So when you think about, like, whether or not you have the confidence to then be able to demonstrate that you have that knowledge that has translatable value, that's the part where I think a lot of people, in order to really, like, look at each day as an opportunity to change what you might be provide most value to, is something you have to just be like, I know what I know. And when I need to know it, it comes. Yeah.
Well, and you're a writer, Iris, that's right.
What's that?
You're a writer, right?
No. I manage writers. I manage writers and actors. Yeah.
So, but like Brian Scher is a good friend of mine, and looking to find where that can be used. So, like, for example, like the podcast business is going crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the talent that you have and the writers that you have can be utilized for, intros, bios, like all types of short form work that, like, the market's incredible, right? And people aren't looking at that. I created a podcast agency before COVID because there's like 900,000 podcasts, and people don't know how to get on podcasts. They don't, and I have an agency side, so I just created an agency. I think those are types of things where you take the skills that you have, look what synergistic capabilities exist today about where content is being distributed and how, and apply who what and say, hey, while this is going on, would you be interested in taking a gig for 10 grand to do this, right?
Yeah.
And just start building those ideas.
It's great advice, and actually I could already see some through lines to some new thinking there. Thank you, David. Really appreciate it.
Awesome, Mario. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Likewise. All right. Bye-bye.
Cool. Yeah, we just changed the way we look at things. The things we look at change. But notice, no matter what age you are and how, credible and big our industry is, sometimes we got to say, hey, who cares what people think? I was 50 years old. People laughed at me, scoffed at me, made fun of me. Now they applaud me, right? They said stuff like, where you speak in the bathroom? I just am not going to vote at this age in this time for what other people want. For me, I'm going to go ahead and keep improving and accelerating. 2 people at a time turn into 2 million really fast. And that's all you need. 2 people that really enjoy what you do to tell 2 people. So please take on more options. The more options you have, the more security you have. It's not necessarily pivoting, just you're keeping your options open. Doesn't mean you've lost the skills, the knowledge, desire for what you were doing before. It doesn't mean you lost that relationship capital, but you're providing more opportunity, allowing value to come through you. Perfect. Is Blaze coming on? There we go. Blaze.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Reno, Nevada.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So I came from Ghana. And at some point in my life, I believe that success is where you believe it is. And then I thought that America is one place that I want to be. So I came here, and the only way I could get here was through graduate school. So I'm doing a master's in stats, data science, and all those things. And even though I'm doing well in class, like a 4.0 and everything, I don't even feel like I understand it. I have no passion. And I did a lot of entrepreneurial stuff in Ghana. It didn't work out and all those things. And now that I'm here, I have to keep like my average, look for a job within my field. But I really want to explore like entrepreneurship and so many other things. Like back in Ghana, it's easier to start a farm. It's easier to start a store. It's a totally different terrain. I don't understand anything around here, but I know that my success is going to be in the US. But like right now, I'm battling staying in graduate school and deciding to start something new. So part of my plan was to find a coach, to find some kind of direction to begin to move in the direction of doing something that feels more fulfilling. Even though I can go to school and do great, but have no passion. So how do I begin to navigate this whole place and begin to start something that can allow me to begin to, be an entrepreneur and that kind of stuff over here?
You got it. So stop cheating yourself. So you've invested in yourself with your education. You're doing very, very well with it, having a 4.0, obviously putting effort in. But what I want you to do is practice something that'll provide you huge success as an entrepreneur. I want you to be more interested than interesting. I don't want you to cheat yourself. I want you to take these courses and look at them differently. I don't want you to take the course so seriously. What I want you to do is find the light, the love, and the lessons in the course that you want to know. I want you to challenge yourself, not just to learn what the teacher wants you to put down on the paper or on the test. I want you to challenge yourself to get deeper into the people that you're reading about, the things that you're studying. I want you to look deeper into the light and the lessons there, and to improve and expand yourself, to challenge yourself, to give what you're looking at the meaning that you want, to give it purpose. What you're doing, anytime that we go through the motions because it's easy, right? It does nothing for us, right? It's to me, it's like walking when you're young. What are you walking, right? You're young. What you don't need, you're 90 years old, walking is exercise, right? It's pushing yourself. There's some pain there. Well, let's get in the habit of finding stuff. Let's get in the habit of creating relationships in any of those things that you're investing in, your classes that you're investing in. There's so much more to those classes than you're getting out of it. Right, you're there because you think the grass is greener on the other side, but you still got to water the grass. And what I want you to do is, I want you, for your homework, I want you to go back to class looking at it differently. I want you to go back in class like it's a business, and that you're going to look and find exactly how you can make money from this class. I want you to take the perspective of an entrepreneur. I want you to look and see what you're learning, and then take it the next step by being more interested than interesting, and learn about how what you're learning applies to the real world, who it applies to that's around you. Reach out to those people, ask them questions, look and see how you monetize what you're looking at, how it fits into what you're doing. And you'll start enjoying it. And you will start paying attention to and giving intention to it, and all these coincidences will come out. So all of a sudden, some person around you is going to be like, oh, I want to do, and then all of a sudden you have a business partner, and his dad's super rich, and he decides he's going to throw $1 million at you to get it started. All these touch of favors, and people might be giggling as they're listening to me, but I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to the people that they call lucky, the people that pay attention to and give intention to what they want. And that is you. I was telling a story earlier that always happens, right? If you're not giving your full, if you're not finding the light, the love, and the lessons and things, if you're not paying attention and giving intention, let's say that I'm in a business selling strawberries, but it's really easy, right? I get the strawberries, I sit at the stand, I play on my phone, somebody comes by, and right, I keep on doing this, and I don't give it any attention or intention. Now, there's a competitor, and it's his livelihood. He's looking always, how do I increase the amount of strawberries, the size of the strawberries, the quality of the strawberries? How do I get a better price or a better marketing ploy? How to get more people in? All these different things. And he's paying attention and giving intention to his strawberry stand. Well, that's the guy that's sitting at the bus stop waiting to get home, and somebody mentions about how they're selling a strawberry farm and that their parents died, and that if they could just find someone to take it over, they would give 51% of the strawberry farm in equity for someone that knew how to do strawberries. Both guys could be sitting on the same bus stop every day. Only one of those guys is going to hear it. The guy that's been paying attention and giving intention. That's the difference. And people don't realize it. You got to raise your awareness through the actual purposeful intention and intention of what you're doing. You're wasting your time, and you're wasting everybody else's time, and you're not taking advantage of what God's given you, because you have an opportunity, because you can get the grade. You forgot why you're there. You're not there for the grade. You're there to learn, expand, and accelerate your career, to build relationships, to be more interested and interesting. So I want you to pay attention and give intention. I promise you, in 2 weeks, all these coincidences, the mathematical equation of the universe, attention plus intention will equal coincidences. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, this class is totally different. Oh, I met this guy. Things are going to start happening in that entrepreneurial way that you want them to. Does that sound fair?
Yes. Yes, it does. Thanks very much.
All right, man. Make a blaze.
Awesome.
I know you can do it. Yeah, that's a common mistake, right? People, they literally make excuses. They find the void shortages and obstacles. They do this not just in work. They do it in school. They do it in their marriage, right? They stop looking for the light, the love, and the lessons. They stop looking for the purpose, and they start looking everywhere else. And then they wonder why they're not satisfied. There's no purpose or no excitement or inspiration into it. Yeah, does that sound fair? Tony G.
Hi, David.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Thank you. Well, whose jersey's behind you?
Clayton Kershaw from the playoffs a couple of years ago. Got him to sign it for me, which is a lucky day.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Cool. What's the question?
I'm struggling putting like all my personal wants and discovering like my personal what from those wants. So, we've accomplished quite a bit through career. I have a family, so how do I put that all together and become more focused so that the coincidences become more frequent for me?
Yeah. So focus is a matter of, number one, taking the inventory of those values, which you sound like you have a good perspective on your value. But what I want you to do then is take it to the next step and get clarity of starting to think about what, right? So you have all these great successes in your life and different things going on, but actually paying attention and thinking about clarity about what it is. So, red Ferrari, and then taking whatever it is that you think you want back into the values and start assessing it on the values. So, for example, if I was going to start a podcast agency, right? I have all this stuff going on, and I get this idea that comes to me. God, there's 900,000 podcasts. Now there's like 1.2 million, by the way, since COVID. But there's 900,000 podcasts. Nobody knows what they're doing in booking talent. Nobody knows, how to build this, that. I could help that. And so then I start paying attention to it and thinking about, okay, if I do that, personal values, relationships, how would that affect? And then experientially, what would that do to my podcast, to other people's podcasts, right? I'm all of a sudden, when I start balancing it in my values, I start getting more focused, and I start getting, I got to call this guy, Todd Armstrong, because he did this for Jack Canfield. And then I want to see how this went for him. And I was wondering if Jordan Belfort would want to get involved, or, iHeartMedia, or, all this focus starts coming, right? And pretty soon the pieces start coming. And then not only are the pieces that I have, aggressively tried to get in place, but the coincidences start happening. People start mentioning this. I heard you were doing this. Can I join? All of a sudden, literally in a matter of, I think it's been 9 months, I have this huge opportunity that's all coincidences, because I got clarity, balance, and focus in what I wanted to do. And so, but I allowed it to happen, right? I continued, by the way, the legs feed the lion. One of the biggest mistakes people get when they're trying to get more focused on other things is forget that what got you there. Right. And so I have a spine approach to business. Right here is the top of my spine. That's what feeds the lion, right? I got to go out and make sure that I'm making this much money doing what I do well, right? Whether it's, coaching or speaking or, a TV show or whatever it is that makes me the most money right there, buying low and selling high. That's what I'm focusing on. Then I go down, down, down. And if I don't want to do it, I try to find people that I can make 10 or 20% to hand it off and say, oh yeah, I got a car guy. I got a guy that'll paint your house. I got a guy that does air conditioning. And I started monetizing those with relationships, because we passed a mutual referral agreement. When they need someone, they pass it to me. When I need someone, I pass it to them. I'm free marketing.
Great. So it's really just going back and focusing in on those values and how those wants relate to my personal values and my experiential values of giving and receiving.
Yeah, and because then you'll be able to provide value to others and ask for help, right? People will come to mind that you already know. Opportunities, synergistic opportunities will come to mind that I already know, and then new ones coincidentally will appear. It's literally, we make it too complicated. It's like I start talking to people, and then they talk to people, and what happens is the people that I talk to are either say, yeah, I can help you, or I know someone that can help you. And I tell them, I could do this for you. And then other opportunities start. But I'm constantly in the flow. I'm constantly expanding and growing. And the spine goes farther down. And I got many more vertebrae that grow off of it. And it ends up being a big monetary thing, because my goal is to make a lot of money so I can help a lot of people, right? That's the giving and receiving, and have a lot of fun.
Have a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, thanks for your time, Dave. I really appreciate it. I'm enjoying the process here.
Awesome. Thank you. All my guinea pigs. Thank you so much for allowing me to be my test smarties. I don't want to use the word dummies. I'm the dummy. You guys are the smarties. I wish I would have done this when I was younger. Perfect. And where are we at? We threw everybody, Justin. Oh, Rich. My man, Rich.
Hey, what's going on?
That's one of my favorite names.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Cool.
All right. Drive carefully.
I'm at work. I'm driving around the parking lot, so I'm not actually like on the road while I'm driving.
All right. What's the question?
I'm being safe. I would ask, the question is, what is, for one, is this being recorded? That's one. Okay. The second question would be, what is a way that I can tap into my subconscious more? Because consciously, I'm very aware of what I want, but sometimes I feel like, my body and my subconscious, my routine it outweighs my conscious thought of what exactly I want to do. So what is something I can do to increase?
Yeah. And it is. And it is. Your subconscious will outweigh your conscious, and your unconscious will outweigh all of them. And so I think taking a step past your subconscious, first of all, and starting to really focus in on, your own family and your genetics, right? So think about, certain personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions that not only you have, but your great grandparents, grandparents, parents had, or also just stuff that you feel in your heart. Like you just have these innate feelings that, I'm a great salesperson, or you got an innate feeling that I'd like to be a chef, whatever that is. Be conscious of that, right? Be conscious of what is inside of you, that quantum being. Now, as far as the subconscious go that gets in the way, I got a little trick of the trade for how to get that subconscious out of your way. And what you want to do is every time it blocks you, that it creates interference and corrosion to what you want. You got that negative chatter in your head, or your activity doesn't match your intention when you're conscious. You're like, I know better than that, and you feel bad about it. You make the same mistakes. You got to start stopping and thinking and breathing, right? You got to clear your mind. So I use, when the little voice comes out, I use cancel. But when the subconscious starts to overwhelm me or overcome my conscious, I take a second and pause everything and I clear my mind, because I want to train my subconscious to get rid of that thought, because there's 40,000 thoughts in your subconscious that no matter what, they've created neural pathways that you have there. You can clear your subconscious, but you got to practice breathing and staying clear and getting it out of there and replacing it with a new habit or a new thought. So go ahead and clear your mind, and then tell your subconscious what you want it to be replaced with. So if like my subconscious used to tell me that I'm not worthy, right? So even though I made a lot of money, I would feel bad about it. I'd feel guilty. I'm not worthy of that. Or I'd feel inferior to people, because even though I was in the same room, in the same league, and I would have this, I wasn't worthy to be where I was. I was an imposter, And I started clearing that and replacing with it, I am, right? I am worthy. And so I would use mantras. I am grateful. I am wealthy. I am healthy. Really powerful words, but I just make it a practice. And if you cancel and clear things from your conscious and subconscious, you'll start reprogramming your brain. And all of a sudden, your subconscious will start, instead of knocking you down, laughing at you, creating doubt and fear, it's going to start encouraging you and tell you, you can do this, you got this, and watch what happens.
Okay. I'm going to definitely put that in effect, like today, right now.
Do it now, man. Do it now. 100%.
I have one more question, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm a part of a network marketing company, right? And really, I just wanted to get some advice on. I affirm that I'm gonna have the best week, but I wanted to get some advice on how can I contact more people than what I'm contacting, right? What is an effective way to expose the opportunity that I have to show people?
Yeah. So everybody has the same way. I love MLMs. It's the 1% of the 1% business, though, because people who stick to it are successful. You don't need any money to start. If you got a good product or service, it's a great way in network marketing. The key to it, though, is in person, on the phone, via email, and media. Radio, print, TV, and social media. You got to ask and attract every day. You got to consciously be that person to ask questions, open-ended questions. So, for example, I buy Elevate. Have you ever heard of Elevate?
Sounds familiar, but
so Elevate is a product that it's a dose product for dopamine, serotonin, all the things that make you happy. And so I buy this product. I like this product. Well, what you should be doing is asking people, hey, what are you doing today to be happy? Right? And they'll tell you, well, I exercise, I do this. Oh, what do you like about what you're doing? What don't you like about what you're doing? Then you can say, hey, would it help you if I gave you a chocolate bar once a day that I guarantee would make you happy? Yeah, that helped. Oh, good, right? Having these conversations by asking questions, by fulfilling the need, and then asking them, furthermore, can you help me? Do you know anyone else, right? Do you know anyone else that would like this product? right? And you'll come up with smoother ways than I'm saying it right now. But I use open-ended questions to learn about what a person's situation is. Then I use those closed-ended questions in order to facilitate finding out how I can provide value or service to them with what I'm selling or what somebody else is selling. And then I ask them, not as a gatekeeper, I ask them as a sponsor, hey, do you know anyone else that can help me? You know any, or do you or anyone else that you know can help me? Again and again, in person, on the phone. Remember, most people know about 1,000 people today on average. So if you're emailing everybody at the bottom, hey, don't forget to ask me about my Elevate product. Don't forget to ask me about this. Hey, would you like to try this? The more you ask, let me give a quick example that I did the other day. And it's so true. You know, you've been to Home Depot before?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. They got 4 checkouts at Home Depot. This is the secret to MLM right here. 4 checkouts. They got garden, we got contractor, consumer, and automatic checkout. Out of the 4 checkouts, they sell just like Best Buy, they sell those warranties on appliances and tools, 2-3 years warranty in case your appliance breaks, and they always add in the money. Well, the number 1 checkout that sells the most warranties, you know which one it is?
No, I don't.
It's the automatic checkout. You want to know why? And they sell more warranties than all of the other ones combined. You know why? Because every time someone checks out, the machine asks them, would you like to buy a warranty? Every time, just by asking. So the biggest problem with most people is they're not asking enough. Right? They're straight out not asking enough. So if you're an MLM in a network marketing company, you need to ask every day as much as you can in person, on the phone, via email, and media. Ask questions, how you can be of service, how you can provide value. Be more interested than interesting, and you will double, triple, quadruple your business, I promise you.
Okay. Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
You got it, my friend.
So,
all right, live up to your name, Rich. Live up to your name.
For sure.
All right. Everybody be rich. You cannot be rich enough. I mean, you can't be rich enough to make other people rich. You can't be poor enough to make anybody rich. One of my favorite sayings. Hey, Stinson.
What's popping?
Hey, I love that setup. What's going on?
Nothing, man. So excited. Great training today. Hey, I got myself into a little hole prior to COVID. It wasn't really a hole. It was some really smart investments, and then got hit. And I've heard your story about some of the failures you had in your past. And so I'm on the brink of the failure. And I'm wondering, what's your advice for how do I dig out of the hole I dug myself into financially?
Yeah. So great question, by the way. So there's 3 kind of things to look at to dig yourself out. One is the stabilization, right? So you got to get stable. And so that if that means cutting your losses, borrowing money, there's different ways to stabilize. But your first step is to stabilize. You do not want to accelerate, right? We want to stabilize first. And so go down one by one, each of the things that you have investment-wise, debt-wise. Fight the anxiety. Like I used to open those bills and I let them sit there. Like force yourself to read it and think about, when I say stabilize, if you got a car bill that you're not paying, call the car company, right? There's no better time to go broke than right now because everybody's forgiving everything.
Right.
You want to negotiate, right? And so use that to your advantage to stabilize. Then once you stabilize the debt part, then stabilize the income part. So I said earlier, the legs feed the lion. So my approach was, okay, I'm gonna stabilize the debt, and I had to go bankrupt to stabilize the debt. But I knew I did, and I was blessed because I own so many properties. I didn't really end up owing anybody. Nobody really lost money. I think some of the banks made more money than I did, but I had to stabilize it. Then I wanted to stabilize my company. I took a steady job, right? I had a steady income. It wasn't 100% of what I wanted to do, but I made sure I stabilized an income because the legs feed the lion. Then I went out and I started looking, all right, how am I going to take advantage of one thing? Because I know if I went broke and you made wise investments as well, so many other people, and guess what? Pendulum swings both ways. If I made an investment that the pendulum swings this way, it's going to swing back the other. I don't want to miss out on the swing back. So I'm going to go ahead and align my capabilities, synergistic supplementary capabilities, skills, knowledge, and desire I have with what I believe is going to make money over the next decade on the recovery, right? We're not to the recovery yet. We're probably going to be, 12, 24 months downward, right? So that's why we're going to stabilize. But while you're stabilizing, prepare to buy when it's overbought. Mm-hmm. And so in your mind, just keep it nice and mathematical. 3 steps. 1, I'm going to stabilize the debt. 2, I'm going to stabilize my income. Doesn't have to be, you're not going to get rich. Just stabilize it. Legs feed the lion. Then prepare to get rich. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah. Last question as far as sales is. So I find myself, I'm having a lot of these conversations, right? And we're talking about closing sales. I'm finding I'm getting a lot of people who are resistant to people selling them anything. Am I reaching out to the wrong people? Or maybe is there something I need to reevaluate into my process of building that relationship? That is the reason why I'm attracting people who are afraid to be sold to.
Yeah, well, first of all, no one's afraid to be sold to if you're giving them $100 and asking for 20 back, right? So if we can articulate the value. So there's 3 reasons why you're going to get people that don't want to be sold to. 1 is time. So, if you're catching people that don't have the time, so make sure you're evaluating when you're talking to them, in what context you're talking to them, because you've got to have someone's attention to have credibility, emotional attachment, to be able to articulate the quantified reasons, impacts, and capabilities, discussing the features and benefits, overall impact, according to those other variables. But if you don't have the time, then you're wasting your time, right? So make sure that you figured out to sell the time portion of it, to make sure someone's giving you amount of time that it's going to take in order to share a vision. Then 2, emotion. Right now, remember, people are very emotional. So you want to illuminate that. So if I find you, and I know it takes me 10 minutes in order to effectuate sharing a vision, I'm going to tell you, Stinson, I need 10 minutes of your time to share my vision with you. Does that sound fair? I get that agreement, right? So I'll book you out at 9:10. I'll be done by 9:20. I promise. 2, I go ahead and ask about the emotional side. So how are things going? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Because if someone straight out tells you, oh man, my wife left me, I'm going bankrupt. Look, he's not an emotional. My dog just died. Worse even now. Like I've had friends whose parents have passed away, right? And we were in some big multi-million-dollar deals, and I'm not going to talk about it, right? I illuminate the fact, hey, you got bigger things. What can I do to help you with your emotional things? And we'll get to business when it's time. So time, emotion. Don't worry about the kids behind you, man. I'm in a closet. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm good, man.
Okay.
I've got good girls. I'm a girl dad. I'm used to this.
I'm a girl dad. I got 3.
Oh, okay. Awesome, man. See, we got that in common.
Yeah.
Yep. Mine's are all under 6. So I'm in the fall, baby.
I've been there. When I went bankrupt, I had three girls under 10 living in a rented house with rented car, rented everything. And
see, that's how I know I got the right mentor.
And my wife was pregnant with my 4th, but it ended up to be a boy.
Oh gosh, man! I hope that we don't have a quarantine baby. I really do.
Yeah. Oh boy, trust me, best mistake of my life, and he's gonna watch this someday. Oh no. But now I lost my train of thought. But shoot, man, I was saying something important. I'll go back and watch the video.
That's good. Hey, listen. I know we're at our time here. I want to thank you. You gave me a lot of value today, even prior to me coming on live. I'm going to go implement what I've been taught, and then I'll be back for some more questions. So
anytime.
Thank you so much.
Private face group, we're still all week long going, extra training, and you know me, I'm accessible. So you just reach out.
All right. Thanks, David.
Hang in there. Thank you. Save your beautiful family priority.
Thank you.
All right. Girl dads, go. My girls are downstairs, and we'll be having dinner again. One of my favorite things. Thank you so much. I'm going to go over time in case we got one more. I don't want to leave. This is our first time doing it. I want to leave one hanging, Justin. If Gemma wants to come on, or are we good? Just let me know via the notes. I am here to help everybody. So,
oops. Hi.
Yeah, oops.
I know. The gifts are factory right here.
Do you miss me?
I miss you, New York. When are you coming back?
As soon as I'm allowed. They quarantine me.
So there are 3 C's that are recession proof. I read candies, cosmetics and contraceptives that are red, right? Should I start selling those instead of the gift sets at the moment, or
No, put all 3 C's in your gift card. Your gift
the
set.
3C gift sets, or
Yeah, call it the 3 C gift set,
the
right?
recession proof? So like I think I told you before, like I've been chasing like the
Sounds like a good date, by the way.
yeah.
That could be the date gift set.
The date in a box. Oh my God, that's so sad in a way. But so I've been trying to reach out to the sports industries, like for the Brooklyn Nets to have their gift sets before, like, but now there's no more Brooklyn Nets at the moment. So like, what am I supposed to do? Like send them like gift sets so that they'll think about gift sub when they start opening again, or?
Well, I think, looking at the need that they have, which is fan engagement during the pause, right?
Mhm.
So, I've had teams send me stuff to keep me engaged with the new stadiums coming out, the teams, the Chargers, the Rams, the Raiders, all have sent me stuff at my home. And so I think instead of talking about what was going to be the gifts, what they were going to be used for, it's very important right now. There's, season ticket holders that may drop out, right? So
Yeah.
this would be a perfect gift to keep the brand alive in the house, keep them thinking about it. So what I want you to do for your homework, Gemma, is I want you to think about how can I use what I do, which is gifta, right? She delivers a pizza box with gifts in it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I got my customized cookies but even beyond sports, think about, what about including some, a mask in there and
Oh yeah.
and some hand sanitizer with some candy and a contraceptive. But no, think about what really is, and then people can give that as a gift, and individuals and companies, when people come in, to give something that's not just straight out at the front desk. Because look, we're going to go into offices. These are perfect giveaways now, right? They can give you a cool gift as you come in to the office that has their own mask in case they want you to wear a mask in the office, hand sanitizer, a little treat, branded cookies that say the Playbook or connected to goodness.
Yes. Connected to goodness. Yes.
Exactly.
So I read, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead.
I read Kobe's book, like the Mamba Mentality. And so what he did is that he read the instruction books of the the referees. That's good. So like for me, for the entrepreneurs, do you have, I guess, do you have any books to read about the other side, about the customers? Like, do you have any?
Yeah. So, I mean, think about, the guys who are owning the teams. So, Jerry Jones and Tillman Fertitta wrote a book. Those are perfect guys to see what their mentality is, right? The guys who own the teams, the guys who, Leigh Wicki and those guys who start, Philip Anschutz with AEG, all of these types of people, big companies that have great promotions and gifts. SAP, Ann Rosenberg wrote a book about science fiction. There's all types of books out there. I would pick the company that you want to do business with and the leader within the company. And most likely, guys like John Scully at Apple and Pepsi, they've written books, and you can delve into the emotional attachment and credibility and value that you can provide with some great insight.
Thank you so much. Well,
I miss you.
I miss you too. Hope to see you here soon.
Stay healthy, okay?
Yeah, thank you. You as well.
Thank you. Oh, that one broke my heart. Every single time I come to New York, Jen would come see me for the in-person meetups. This is the virtual meetup. Anyway, I really like this. Please give me your feedback. Let me know what your thoughts on how I can improve the coaching, private coaching groups. We priced it so low for the year. Everyone should get way more value than what it costs, but I want to make sure you're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of value and get the access of that you need with me without having to do personalized one-on-one coaching. So hopefully this is working out. It's working out for me. I find it really, really valuable. Yes, I will do one more. I'll go even farther. That's the way I roll. Hi, honey.
Oh my God, I'm such a mess. Hi. I know we just talked Friday. How are you?
I'm good. I want to take a quick question. I don't want to quit on my group.
No, I appreciate it. This is not technically business related. It's more personal, so I'm hoping it'll help someone else too. So my daughter's set to graduate this year, and they weren't going to do a graduation ceremony. And all of a sudden, they're trying to do something that's socially distance friendly. And it kind of got dropped on me. And you know my situation, high risk, allergic to all the meds they're treating with, been super careful up to this point. And I'm angry because I feel like, and I'm not, with all the work we've done, I've been real good about letting things go through and let it go in a couple minutes and I'm fine and I move on. This I'm having a really hard time with because it's like I can go and risk my health, or I cannot go and miss out on, like, sorry, this is like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
She's my only daughter. I have 3 other boys. My son chose not to walk. I'm sorry. I really didn't want to get emotional again. I don't know how to let it go so that the right answer can come to me.
Okay. So
is that fair?
Yeah, of course. So just real quick, life's not fair.
No, I know.
Your health is most important. If you're not here after graduation because you get sick of COVID, that's not going to be good. So let's think about what we can do to be safe, right? So the nice thing is you really want this for your daughter, not for you. She gets to experience walking. And we're blessed to have virtual capability or binocular capability, right? So if you want to be there, then, the nice thing is social distancing will keep you safe. You have masks, then you stay 30 yards away from everybody. 30 yards. Bring binoculars with you. I've been to sporting events and I felt the emotions of it. I got to witness it. I'm getting choked up. And I was one of my favorite finals I've ever gone to. I was sitting in the corner seat of the NBA finals when I was young, because that's the only thing I could afford, with binoculars. I was better off watching it on TV, but I was there, right? And if you have to stay up in the far corner of the stadium, 30 yards away from everyone else, you'll be just as safe as you're at your house. Okay. So if it's very important for you to be there in person, then you find a safe place to be there in person and bring binoculars. If you don't have any, I will send them to you. You've sent me so many gifts. I got tons of sports binoculars. I'll send them.
I actually don't have those. I was thinking about
I'll send them to you.
Phone Zoom.
I'll send them to you. Or if you rather stay at home and FaceTime it there, they can do that for you. But make sure you have someone record it, because you're talking to someone who has many kids that have graduated. And yes, I was there. And to be honest, if I was a mile away and could just see it through binoculars, I would have felt the same way to witness it. And I watched the video, right? I watched the video. My daughter gave the senior speech last year. And to be honest, even where I could sit, I could barely see it. I had to watch the video to catch it again. So let's find a solution. Let's, look for the light, the love, and the lesson in this. And instead of feeling sorry for yourself, feel blessed that instead of watching and not having your daughter experience this, which to me would have been the greatest loss, she's going to get to do what every other kid dreams about doing. And she's going to walk and you're going to be there. You might be a little farther away than normal, or you might be at home watching, whatever you decide to do. But your priority is to stay healthy and let her have the opportunity of enjoy it. It's not about you. It's about her. You'll enjoy it. Does that sound fair?
It does. Thank you. You made this so much. That's where I was missing. Like, I was struggling. I was letting my ego take over, and I couldn't get past it. Like, I really couldn't. I was so angry.
That's what happens.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Anger, stop, drop, and roll, my dear. Thank you for everything, Bonnie. Let me know if you need those binoculars. I'll send them out tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right, everyone. What a good one to end on. Personal, professional. We're good. We're all good. I appreciate this. I really enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as me. I hope it's bringing as much value as it does to everyone who gets to share in this. If you haven't catch the recordings, those are all yours. Any sheets that you need, books that you need, binoculars that you need, I'm of service. Anytime you need me, let me know. I will catch you next week on Monday at 3:00. I'm open to suggestions. Please let me know. Thank you, Justin. Great job. Team Meltzer. Appreciate it. Bye.